Hey guys, we had a little technical difficulty, so this is actually the continuation of the first part of the second episode of Just Case Live. And hopefully you already watched that. If not, watch that first because we're going to immediately jump into the Discord and the AI, and it's going to be out of context if you don't know what we're talking about. So the instructions will inform you that you need to start with exclamation cAISE. So that's basically grabbing its attention. Any other chats in here, I made it so that if you have side conversations between each other, it's not going to, the AI isn't constantly thinking that you're trying to talk to it. So it's only when you, in a lot of times in forums and chat rooms like this, using the @ symbol is what you use to communicate directly to a specific member or a group, which you can also do in Discord, but using the exclamation will get the AI's attention. So then you put in exclamation cAISE space, and then whatever your question is. When do delivery ninjas operate? All right, now that is going to signal to the AIs. So like I said, this is probably going to use at least 2 AI simultaneously, and it's going to give you an answer. Delivery ninjas operate strictly between the hours of midnight and 6 a.m. This overnight schedule minimizes traffic delays and prevents drivers from losing time in customer conversations, ensuring maximum route efficiency. So I wanted it, when it's applicable, I wanted it to basically know to give you, let me kill that second mic. I wanted it to give you an answer and, when applicable, a reason. So answer plus the why behind it. So in that case, like you said, it tells you when. Now the delivery ninjas, just show you so you understand what it was asking. Delivery ninjas, in case you don't know, that's what we call our delivery drivers. And there are some other caveats where we have some other routes, but that was basically telling you, from all the information that I've put out there, this is all the different content that I have, what I've told you about my meal prep company. This is all, so it knows about my meal prep company, it knows about the advice I've given to other people through my videos and my ebooks and everything else, all my courses. Well, not all my courses, but a good amount of them. And it's put it all in there. So when you're asking about delivery ninjas, it knows you're talking about delivery ninjas, which are what my meal prep company decided to call delivery drivers. So it's looking specifically at the answer, which would be specific to my company. You could also ask questions like, let's do another example. I remember to turn the mic on. Let's see. So let's do another example, and I'll ask it a less specific question. Should we screen print in multicolor on both sides? It's hard to see my keyboard with the mic in the way. Sides of the delivery cooler bags. So I'm asking, should we screen print in multicolor on both sides of the delivery cooler bags? Now my answer would be something to the likes of, no, it's a waste of money. If you're going to screen print it at all, screen print one side. Make sure you have, this might be getting above the scope of the question, but I would also say make sure you've got the contact information for your company, the brand. Don't worry about making it multicolor. Make it one color. Make it a dark colored delivery bag so it doesn't show dirt, and bright colored screen printing font, again in one color, like black bag with white font on one side with your company name legibly, your website, and your phone number would be like probably what I would be instructing you. So let's see what it says. We should have some elevator music. Once I have an editor or some really smart AI, I'll have some elevator music put in there. No, you should strictly use a single color screen print on just one side of the bag. White text on dark bag provides the necessary high contrast pop for neighbors to read your brand from the street, rendering multicolored printing a waste of capital. I basically just made myself obsolete. Now the pressure's on me to continuously come up with new information so I can remain more valuable to you guys than my AI, right? Well, the purpose was not to gatekeep this stuff, to make it more accessible. So you guys see, I put out tons of free videos. There's still going to be personal situations where either you don't want to go through the video, or you got a one-off problem where there's a caveat and maybe it's like 9 out of 10 times cAIse would recommend doing this, but I want to ask them with these specific details in my situation, is this still something that you recommend I do? So those cases, right now, your only outlet is to book a one-on-one call. Well, this gives you another option. So check that out. I'm making these gestures to the camera as if you're still looking at me, and kill that mic. So that was it as far as just a little excitement about that. Where are I got the chat back up. Let me go to the next question. Shipping nationally, we just answered. I'm new to marketing. I'm not sure where to begin. Should I just hire someone or learn to do it myself? It's hard to answer that without knowing a little bit about you. If you are technically inclined, if you're comfortable with software and you have the time to learn it and follow some software, or I'm sorry, some marketing gurus out there and look up some best practices, I would do that. I would start by focusing on one and not necessarily having to master it, but getting familiar and comfortable enough. At the end of the day, if you have the money and you are comfortable, I would, for the fastest results, hire somebody. And I can recommend some people. I've got a couple of guys that I work with that I know personally. They do marketing, they do great work, they give my customers great rates. They're helping me specialize in marketing services for meal prep companies. So I can just throw you guys to them, and it's almost boilerplate, which for you, not only does that mean they have to charge you less, they get up and running faster because they're already familiar with what keywords and whatever else. They just put in the little variables that are different about your meal prep company as opposed to the last one. But the benefit is most marketing companies, their last client that they just got off the phone with was a dentist office. The next call that they have after talking to you about your meal prep company is going to be a Portuguese restaurant down the street. And then the call after that is going to be a Land Rover dealership. So they're learning different tactics and keywords and what works best. And depending on what your product or service is, you might do better on Snapchat than TikTok, or you might do better on TikTok than Facebook, or better on Facebook than Google. So the strategy for meal preps is it could very likely be completely upside down from the strategy for a Land Rover dealership or something like that. The clientele that you're going after, the keywords, all that stuff is something that a new marketer has to learn. Even if they've worked with one or two other meal prep companies, they're still learning with them. The more iterations that they get with more meal prep companies and the more success that they can replicate, it'll streamline your startup, it'll get you results faster, and it will bring your budget way down because you won't have to waste money on tactics that don't work. You won't have to overbid when we know a good bid price for words is in this kind of range. Bidding anything more is just going to make the conversion rates impossible to obtain in order to make it profitable. There's all these factors. So again, I can't give you a short answer on that without knowing more about your situation. But based on what I just told you, hopefully that gives you some ideas. Now, even if you hire a company, whether you start off doing it yourself or you hire a company, I strongly implore you to learn. Day one, let's say you call and they're like, hey, we're going to start you with Google pay-per-click based on your budget. And then we're going to start doing some SEO for some long-term benefit. But the immediacy is going to be through some Google pay-per-click. And then we're going to eventually get into Facebook and Instagram content. Great. Once you get off that phone, I know you're busy. I would start trying to find podcasts and YouTube videos, and I'll provide some myself. And I'm going to hopefully get them to help me make some content that'll teach you a little bit more, just so that, not that you're going to ever take over the marketing. You don't have to be a marketer, but you have to be able to speak their language. If you hire a chef and you don't know what chicken is and you don't know anything about cooking, can it still get done? Yeah, but it would be a lot easier if you guys are speaking the same language, understanding the same concepts, the same theories, how things work, limitations and capabilities of things, the different lingo that's out there. Like what's a lookalike audience, and how do you build one, and how do you use one, and how do you optimize it? All those kind of things, at least being familiar with the concepts and the vocabulary, allows you as a business owner to have a more intelligent conversation. And there might be some things that once you learn it, you'll be able to propose ideas. And if you're staying up to date and you're maybe listening to podcasts, because their marketers are constantly getting new information, there's always way more information coming out than you can absorb. So if you're also just listening to podcasts while you drive or while you're doing stuff around the office that's talking about new marketing features and abilities, you might be able to bring that to the conversation and say, hey, I just listened to this podcast and they discuss this tactic that's getting some traction. I was wondering what your feedback is. Are you familiar with it? If not, here's some more information on it. And they might say that works for that Land Rover dealership and that dentist, but based on what you're doing, that wouldn't be a viable route for us. So at least whether or not it's something that, or they might say, that's a great idea. I didn't know that feature was out yet. Let's do it. But it, like I said, you at least want to be able to have that conversation with them and speak with them. It's like my woman sends me to handle everything to do with the cars. They're not going to try to sell me blinker fluid. I know everything that there is to know that I should need to know to talk to a mechanic about the car. And then ideas to what's involved and how difficult things are, how necessary it is, and all that other stuff. Next question. How should I start preparing for retirement as an entrepreneur? I don't mean to laugh, but man, I'll finish. I'm 33. I have nothing for retirement, just some stocks and crypto on Robinhood and Coinbase. I was in a very similar boat. I've set up, I actually have, I had a license. I was going the route. I had a 215, a 440. I was going to go the financial advisor route at one point. This is another, I told you guys, I've had a bunch of businesses. Before this, I built a nationwide network of attorneys operating 48 states completely by myself. I was part of a medical network, or I was the COO of that. I've done mortgage license, insurance, all sorts of, so I'm a jack of all trades. I am not a financial advisor. This is not financial advice, anything that I give you. But I will say that I'm sure a lot of people can relate to this. A lot of us are either leaving a secure job that may or may not have had benefits, but at least had a secure paycheck where you know what you were able to save. And then some of us are just serial entrepreneurs. And that's kind of what I fall into, a serial entrepreneur. So I never had 401k or any of that stuff. I've set up multiple IRAs and different business emergencies. I've had to liquidate them. There's some I've probably forgotten about, but I would strongly suggest you start researching that stuff. And the first thing you'd probably want to look into is, and I can do more content on this stuff and I'll share what I know, and I'll always try to have the disclaimers, do your own research, but I'll tell you what I'm doing. I'm big into crypto. I've been into crypto since 2016 when I really got serious. Dabbled a little bit before that. Stocks as well, all over the place. I'm trying to, make sure my retirement, I don't know if I'll ever retire, but I want the ability to retire and continue to increase my wealth, meaning I have enough in the bank that even after my spend, that is appreciating and growing in value faster than what I can. That's ideal. Now, a lot of us just want to be able to not have to work when we don't want to work. Already in a transition like that, I love working, but setting up for your retirement, I would, if it were me, what I did is started with IRAs. There's life insurance products that you can go into. I've sold those. I've had those whole life and terms and all sorts of stuff. And there's ways to overfund, and there's tax benefits and you can borrow against it and stuff like that. But I would start before that, probably depending on your age, with an IRA. Now, if you're a bit older, it might make more sense. And if you don't have life insurance, an adequate life insurance policy, and you got a family and other considerations, as an entrepreneur, we want to make sure that you might have a partner, you might have some kids who can't jump in and run your business. And there's that scariness where if you're in that situation where a lot of my clients are, they haven't built the business yet. It's not its own business. You're an employee of your own business. We'll get into the cash flow quadrants. I've mentioned it before. Cash Flow Quadrants by Robert Kiyosaki. Really thin book, really easy, but very powerful. You'll understand when you're still necessary for working your business, making it run. If it can't run and grow without you and continue to get better, let alone at least continue to maintain a stasis, you don't have a business, so you don't have anything to turn over. If your partner, your spouse, if your kids aren't able to step in, then all the value that you built into it, it's at risk. There are also insurance policies that businesses can pay for key members and people who are important, not silent partners, but someone who, if that person was no longer able to run the business, if they died or they were otherwise incapacitated, there's somewhere that you're just incapacitated, there's payouts that will help hire, cover the bills, whatever else. But for personal, let's say you're not at that level yet where you're still a very small business and it's really nothing of value to try to keep running, a life insurance policy, the right life insurance policy might be where you want to start. Again, I would talk to a financial advisor because it's going to be based on your age, your income, whether or not you're married, your assets, how much you've got saved, what your spouse does, their income, their savings, and all that other stuff. So I could see the argument for a life insurance policy, assuming that you either have that in place or you're not thinking that that's a high risk right now. That's not your concern. Maybe you're a solo entrepreneur or small business. You don't have a family yet or anything else. And you just want to start worrying about your retirement. IRAs are a good place to look at. And they have the two main IRAs it's going to be a traditional, and then with Roth IRA is one of the main differences. The reason I like Roth is it's post-tax dollars. So you won't be taxed on it afterwards. So a famous story is Pt2, one of the head dudes at Palantir. He's an early guy in PayPal. He, from what my understanding, he had what's called a checkbook IRA, which is like another form of a Roth. And it allows you to, and I'll get into more details because I'm actually setting one of these up. It allows you to invest in unconventional investments. So you could use that Roth then, that checkbook directed IRA. You can use it instead of just investing in mutual funds or stocks or the conventional stuff. You could use it to invest in real estate or a private company, which is what Pt2 did. So he took his money that was post-tax, so it'll never be taxed again. It invested in PayPal. It made squillions of dollars. And then he invested in his other businesses and they all made money. So he does all his investments from these post-tax dollars, meaning he already paid taxes on it. So he won't be taxed on that money again. That's genius. Now with traditional, you're not taxed now, but you will be taxed later on in life when you start taking, and they have different ages. And there's also 457B, which certain government employees and I think like hospitals and maybe nonprofits, I forget who can get a 457B, but that has a higher limit of annual contributions. So if you or your spouse have a government job that entitles you to a 457B, and this is parallel to a 401k, and I know I might be going over a lot of heads, but look into that because instead of $7,000, the cap for an IRA is $7,000 a year. That's how much you can contribute and put into it. And that's a good chunk of money, but it's a very limited amount. If you want to put in more, one of the vehicles that allows more is a 457B. And I think that's like $22,000 or $23,000 a year. And I think that's, from my understanding, again, do your own research, those can be combined, a combined amount of almost 30,000 a year that you'd be, or approximately 30,000 a year that you'd be able to contribute to a retirement plan. So that's what I would suggest. Now, again, as an entrepreneur, there are benefits. Like one of the things that's nice about some of those life insurance policies that you can use is you can get a loan against the balance that you've built up. So it's not considered distribution, but you're getting a loan against it. So you're basically paying yourself interest to borrow money from yourself. So it's a good way to provide liquidity and not permanently tie up that money. You could still, got 50 grand saved up and you want to buy, a boat, or you want to buy some kitchen equipment or something like that, or down payment for a house. I don't know what you can and can't use it for. I don't remember if there's stipulations or not. But you can borrow against that 50,000 instead of borrowing against the bank. And when you pay a minimal amount of interest, you're paying it back to yourself. And I'll probably be connecting with some financial advisor guys too, because a lot of the stuff that we discuss in the private groups, I'm noticing also starts trending towards something where like I'm comfortable talking about it, but actually giving you advice. I can paint the picture and explain stuff and kind of do what is and isn't worth looking into. But I also want to I'll get my financial advisor or somebody on an episode, and we'll try to give you guys a boilerplate plan and some good principles. There's a lot of good books out there that I'd recommend too. There's a Tony Robbins book, something, it's got money in the title. Some of the information's a bit outdated, some of it's good. As far as getting into specific investment vehicles and even specific investments. Like I said, I trade stocks and crypto and all sorts of stuff and everything. A lot of my time goes into that, so I'm very well versed in that. But I'm sure there's always more that I don't know, so I'd love to get a specialist on with you guys. Other questions? You know what? Send me an email and I'll answer that one specifically. I got to look at my schedule. And as far as, no, with the software, there's going to be a link. I'll try to share the link in the chat after I'm done. If you're watching the video or if you're in the chat, you can go to the video. It'll be posted on YouTube and wherever else. And I'll have a link check out all the links in the show notes. I think I've got almost all the old ones that I used to put up. They should all still work. I'm going to put up some new ones, just getting around to it. But check those out. And as far as signing up for the software or the private group or consultations, you could either go to the links. I'll drop some links here. You can go to mealprepbiz101.com, and in the store, you're able to, I think there's a thing where you can sign up for the software. But I do have a specific sheet where I take down information where it tells me like how big your business is, how many clients you're dealing with, and different variables like how many delivery days you have, you're located, and things like that. And it allows me to prioritize. Unfortunately, who's got more dire situations. If you're on a bad software or something like that, try to let me know, and I'll see if we can prioritize you if you're experiencing an emergency. Hopefully the onboarding for you wouldn't be too hard. One thing I would like to prepare people for is the onboarding. You have to have, if you haven't done this before, you got to have all of your data accessible in some way, shape, or form that could easily be copy, pasted, uploaded. If we're dealing with a bunch of handwritten scribble, you're going to have to digitize that or basically start fresh by collecting new information from your clients. Most of you guys are probably on at least a spreadsheet. I know this business, everyone lives off a spreadsheet at some point or another. So hopefully you have a good amount of information in the spreadsheet that we can put into some kind of a congealing format and just upload all that stuff so you don't have to manually type everything in. Like I said, if it's written down on paper, you're doing a lot of typing to get that data entry in. But the software also has some AI built into it. And I won't tell you about all the features, but some of the features do help with onboarding. And there's some other stuff that's going to be really cool. The reporting features, everything. I want to do a full demo walkthrough of the software, but honestly, it's so much and it's going to take so long. And I really got to think about the most concise way to deliver it that's also not skipping over stuff, but also like not do an 8-hour video to watch because it is so detailed. So I'm going to try to prioritize the highlights that I want to touch on, the stuff that I think most of you care about. I'll probably skim over like the labor management stuff because it's impressive, but like most of you guys don't need that right now. You guys need something that's going to give you better perspective, automate some stuff, take the orders, make it easier to change your menus, give your customers more control so they don't feel like they have to go to customer service, reducing your need for customer service and labor and everything. Make your purchasing and your production more efficient. Keep track of inventory. Like it does too much. It even helps with marketing, like text campaigns and email campaigns, and like I said, too much. So it'll be a long video. Even me just talking about it, feels like I took up an hour just talking about it. So yeah, that's where. So if you're interested in the software, I'm horrible at promoting, horrible about selling my time. I was convincing you guys not to hire me to come see you in person. But that's basically. I have another note or another question coming in. Someone typing something. I'll wait for that. That's a question. It's a long question. But yeah, check out all the other links. Again, if you want to play with the new AI in the chat, You just have to be a member of the private group. There's probably going to be links in the show notes, and mealprepiz101.com. It goes to our Discord. You will need a Discord right now to access the private group. I know not a lot of people have Discord. I'm trying to figure out maybe going back to Facebook. I know I've talked about it for years. Everyone has Facebook. It's hard because the younger generation doesn't have Facebook. I mean, I don't know what else. I don't want to make you guys get another app or have to learn something else, but Discord just has the best features for hosting this. Like, I'm able to have all these different side channels that are like topic specific chats. I can have an AI dedicated to one. It's not like the Facebook group, even that was a bit congested. But like I said, I want to make it accessible, but Discord's free, man. Just sign up for the membership. The Discord app itself is free, and it's not too difficult to use. And there's some tutorials on YouTube. All you need to do is figure out how to get to our Discord, and then you see the video I just showed you, and everything else is pretty intuitive. People will be in there in the chat to help you out. And maybe I'll even put more AI in there specifically to help out in the Discord. Okay. So, question about business financing. I do have some potential resources for that. It depends on how much you need, and I don't want to get into it right now, but that's something we can talk about privately. I do have some options and solutions for business financing, potentially, depending on what your needs are. Actually, at least two different sources. One would be for crazy amounts of money. It's going to be obviously harder to get that. The other one for if you're just looking for like 50, 100, 150 grand, that's going to be a bit easier based on, business and stuff like that. It will be based on your numbers, your revenue, your business's performance, not necessarily based on your credit. If your business has been around for at least 2 years and has good growth, if it's not able to stand on its own, then it will also be based on your credit. And I've been wanting to do an interview with my buddy who does that. And then the other one, it's several different guys through a hard money. I got a buddy who does hard money lending primarily for real estate, but some of his investors, he's like an intermediary between people who need money and people who have a bunch of money and they want to lend it privately. Some of those guys in that group of wealthy individuals with cash they want to lend, some of those guys have expressed to him that they are interested in businesses. Most of them are interested in real estate. Some of that's what his primary relationship is with them, helping them invest in real estate deals so people can do like fix and flips and flip it, rent it out. Now it praises for more and they pay back the loan. There's all sorts of stuff like that going on with real estate. So that's called hard money lending. And it's a situation where the bank won't extend money to you because you don't have the credit or the track record, or for some of these guys, maybe they're in the process of flipping 10 houses and all those loans were already through banks, and the bank's like, hey man, like you're already too extended until you close some of these houses and close some of these loans. We're not giving you any more money. Those guys can go to a hard money lender. I'm sure the interest rate's a bit more because you're getting it from another source and you're kind of a little bit higher risk. Again, tangential to what we're talking about, but like let's say you were like, hey, I want to buy a new facility. I found this warehouse that's got kitchen set up and everything. It'll be perfect. I want to buy it. Those are the guys that you would talk to. But if anybody else who's looking for, 50 is, good number. That would be enough money, even if you don't think you need it. If you think you need 20, it might be good to get 30. In my experience, it's always better. There's an expression, another quote about, only go to the well once. Meaning if you're going to go ask for money and you need 20 grand, you might want to ask for 30 or 40 grand because you don't want to have to spend that 20 and then go back to the well and say, hey, I know I told you all I needed was 20 grand, but it turns out before I can really pay you back on that 20, I'm going to need another 20 for some unforeseen circumstances. Go to the well once. If you need 20, 30, or just round up to 50, go for that. You might get approved. You might need 20, ask for 50, get approved for 30. And a lot of them I know are running like 0% interest for a year, 0% interest for 18 months. And again, this isn't a promotion. This isn't financial advice. And I'm not guaranteeing anything, approvals or anything else like that. I'm just telling you what exists that I know of out there. from some other people that I know of that have done this, and my experience doing this as well previously. And like I said, ask for 20 or need 20, ask for 50, you get 30. Best case scenario, you don't spend it and you're able to pay it back, faster. Or you could throw that 10 into maybe something else that would accelerate, like some marketing or something like that. Or maybe that money, that 20 was for a marketing campaign that you thought would be enough for 6 months, but you had some mistakes in the beginning, or you needed to change some stuff and some other expenses came up. Now all of a sudden that 20 got sucked down to 15 or 10, and now you're running out of money for the rest of that marketing campaign. You know, so anything else? Thank you. Bless you too. Thank you so much. You guys are making me blush. Seen some nice comments in there. I'm gonna wrap it up, and like I said, I can't tell you when I'm gonna do another one of these, but keep your alerts on. Everything else, jump in the private group, and we'll try to do this a bit more frequently. I had fun. I hope you had fun listening to my rambles. I hope you like my impromptu studio setup. I don't know what I'm gonna do about the lighting, because like I got the noise of the 3D printer in that room. It's a little bit cramped, and then out here I got the light from the beautiful weather. I was just talking. Yeah, I'm in South Florida. I'm in Miami, so I know a lot of you guys right now are dealing with like blizzard and snow, and I'm really sorry. Look, out of solidarity, I wore a little coat, which it it was necessary. I mean, I'm wearing shorts under this, but it was necessary earlier because AC was on at night, keep it nice and cold, and then I turn it off during the day and normally retains. Now it's starting to warm up. I know you guys don't want to hear that because right now you guys are like snowed in, and I got my cousins up, or I've got cousins in North Carolina who are snowed in. I've got cousins in Connecticut. I've got a sister in Boston. I've got friends in Colorado. I know you guys are dealing with some stuff. My heart goes out to you. I know people who are trapped in Tampa because they were supposed to fly out. Now it's being pushed back like a week. So my heart goes out to you. But yeah, I'm in sunny South Florida. We were discussing some of the snow issues that, honestly, as much as I can tell you about meal prep and everything else when it comes down to delivering meal prep in the snow, the thing I know is better have four-wheel drive. From my times I've spent going snowboarding and renting cars, definitely need four-wheel drive, especially in those mountainous areas. And the good news is, you know that the food's going to be cold whenever they find it. So you don't have to worry about it getting too hot overnight while it's sitting on their doorstep, or even in the sun, because it's still going to be frozen solid. So silver lining. Now, be safe. Tell your drivers to be safe. You might want to adjust some of the delivery routes to make them a little bit shorter so that they're able to get them done in a shorter period of time. You guys know your situations and how the roads are taken care of. And if you're in an area where everything's salted and clear, maybe it's still easy for you guys to get those deliveries done. I got to imagine it's still going to be, slow and cautious driving. But I wish you guys the best. Everybody stays safe. So far, no app reported from anybody in our group. But wish you guys the best of luck in dealing with that. And if you want to come down to sunny South Florida, don't. It's too crowded. There's too many. Traffic's crazy. I never leave. Have a good one.